In this video, I will cover up with the summary of the chapter The Rat Trap. Once upon a time, there was a vagabond who went around selling small rat traps. He made them from the material he had got by begging. The business was not profitable, so he had to beg and even steal to survive. His clothes were in rags, his cheeks were sunken, and hunger gleamed in his eyes. While he was engrossed in his thoughts about rat traps one day, a very amusing thought came to his mind that world is a big rat trap. It offered comforts and joys just like the rat trap offered cheese and pork. As soon as a rat tempted to touch the bait, it trapped him. Further, the crofter treats the peddler nicely, but the peddler cheats him. One dark evening, as the peddler was going along the road, he went to a small grey cottage, seeking shelter for the night. The owner, who had once been a crofter, not only invited him but was happy to get someone to talk to. The crofter, who had no wife or children, was very talkative and shared much about himself with the peddler. He informed the peddler that during the days of prosperity he worked at the Ramshaw iron work, and now cows supported him. Further, he even shared that he had earned 30 knors by selling cows' milk. The guest seemed to be very much interested that now the vagabond is pleased with his smartness and he gets lost in the woods. The vagabond, that is the peddler, was quite pleased with his smartness. He avoided the public highway and turned into the woods, as he felt he would be safer and no one would be able to catch him. It was big and confusing forest. He tried to walk in a definite direction, but the paths twisted back and forth so strangely that he was confused. He walked on and soon realized that he had been walking around in the same part of the forest. All at once, he recalled that his thoughts about the world being a rat trap. Now, his own turn had come. He had let himself be fooled by the bait and had been caught in a trap. The entire forest, with its trees and trunks, was as now the peddler meets the iron master and he declines his invitation. Finally, the peddler saw no way out in the jungle. He was so overwhelmed with exhaustion that he sank down to the ground, tired to death, thinking that his last moment had come. Just then, he heard the sound of the regular thumping of a hammer. He realized that the sound was coming from an iron mill. He summoned all his strength and walked in the direction of the sound. He reached the Ramshaw Iron Works, which was then a large plant with smelter, rolling iron mill, and forge. He entered the ironworks amidst the different sounds coming from the work going on in full swing. It was quite unusual for persons like him to be attracted by the warmth and shelter of the forge. So he was ignored by the blacksmiths. The master blacksmith rather granted him permission to stay. Soon the iron master came into the forge for his inspection and noticed the peddler. He mistook him in the dim light for an old regimental comrade and addressed him as Niels Olof. The peddler didn't try to clear his doubt. He thought that the ironmaster might give him some money. The ironmaster invited him home, and the peddler thought going to the house would be like throwing himself. Ironmaster sends his daughter Edla to persuade the peddler. The ironmaster assumed that the peddler felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. He tried to comfort the peddler by informing him that there was nothing to be ashamed about. He further told him that his wife Elizabeth was dead, his sons were settled abroad, and he lived with his daughter, Edla. But the trap constantly refused to go with him. The ironmaster went away, but he was not deterred by the peddler's refusal. He sent his daughter to persuade the peddler. When Edla came to the ironworks, she found the man alarmed and frightened. She tried to comfort him. She somehow sensed that his fear conveyed that he was either a thief on the run or an escaped prisoner. Still, she was very friendly and kind to the peddler. The peddler felt confidence in her and accepted the invitation and felt guilty and cursed himself for stealing the crofter's money. Further, Edla expresses her doubts about the peddler. In this, the next day was Christmas Eve. Now, Edla argues on behalf of the peddler. The ironmaster asked the peddler to leave, but Edla wanted him to stay back. She felt that they had promised the peddler Christmas cheer, and it would be wrong to send him back. The peddler was surprised by the gesture. Edla further added that the peddler must have been through a bad time, as he was always chased away. He would never ever even sleep unafraid. The ironmaster gave in. The peddler was allowed to stay on for the Christmas, but the only thing he did was to sleep soundly after that. Once or twice he was woken up to have food, but besides that, he only slept. It seemed that he had never slept as quietly and safely. The ironmaster and Edla gifted him the suit that he was wearing as a Christmas present. She told him that he was welcome to spend even next Christmas with them. The peddler kept staring at her in boundless amazement. Then the peddler becomes a changed man. Next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter went to the church for Christmas service and leaving the peddler at home. They returned home and Edla was very sad at the church that they had learned that the Rattrap peddler robbed an old crofter who once worked at their Ramsjo ironworks. The ironmaster was furious. They thought that by the time they would reach home, the peddler would have escaped with all the silver and other valuables. When they got home, the ironmaster asked that the fellow had left, but he had not taken anything with him. Instead, he had left something for Edla. Adla opened the package and found a rat trap. In rat trap were 3 wrinkled 10 Knorrs notes and a letter. The peddler had written that since Edla had treated him like a real captain, he also wanted to be nice to her. He wanted the money to be returned to the crofter. He further wrote that he would not have been able to escape the rat trap if he had not been raised to status as of a captain. He even signed the letter as Captain Von Stale. He was a changed man then. Now, this was the summary to the chapter, The Rat Trap. Further, in the next video, I am going to discuss the question and answers of this chapter.